Hi guys. Okay, so today we were working on value and shading. So earlier you should have already done your value scale. If you're using your sketchbook, I haven't done the value scale just yet, but I would recommend just using the same paper for this, so that way we're not wasting paper. So your value scale, I don't have a ruler on me, or I don't have a straight edge real quick, but so at the top you might want to put your value scale and your gradation scale. So if you have all this space, you can use the space here or just draw in the back. We're going to be doing the same object today to work with value and shading. Now, first thing I want to talk about is how you hold the pencil. So when you guys draw, don't draw the way you would write. I think I mentioned that in my last video. Try to hold the pencil towards the middle with 2 fingers and your thumb loosely, almost like you can move it around. You can draw straight lines, curved lines. It can move around like a compass almost. Okay, very fluid. You can move your wrist around. So we've already talked about line variation. So I'm going to kind of just skip over line and jump into shading. Now you can shade one or two ways. We are going to go over some like shading techniques like hatching, cross hatching, stippling, blur, and things like that. But today I just want to show you 2 different ways you could possibly shade. You can shade either with line. That means you're actually drawing strokes and little lines to fill in the value. And this would be hatching. We're going to talk more about this when we get into those techniques. And another way would be that's if I hold the pencil the way I just showed you. Now we can also take the pencil and hold it in our palm, and that means our 2 fingers are flipped on top and our thumb is guiding in the center, and like this. And you can actually shade with the side of the pencil. So this motion, I probably would drag it back and forward, and then I would build it up. The more pressure you apply, the darker the value, okay? The lighter your hand, the lighter the value, okay? So there's my little mini gradation scale. So that's just one way you can shade. Now we are not going to blend today. We are just going to use shading. So this is what I want you to do. I want all of us to draw 2 cylinders. So one cylinder is going to have an oval at the top. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then a box on the side. Okay. Sorry, it's upside down. And then a curve. Sorry guys, I'm trying to draw upside down. A curve here at the bottom to finish it off. Okay, I'm going to just fix that since I was doing that upside down. Now remember to keep a light hand. So I'm actually going to do the same thing on the other side. So I have 2 cylinders. So one cylinder here. I'm drawing very light hand, light pressure. And then I'm just going to finish it off right here with a curved line at the bottom. Okay, so now I have my 2 cylinders, and we're doing 2 because I want you to see the difference, okay? So when you're applying shading, a lot of people tend to darken their edges or their outline because we tend to draw like this. So I'm going to darken my edges just for visual so you can see. Now when we start applying the shading, that dark edge, so let's pretend that this, you can follow along with me, we're going to darken this, the edge of it right here, all the way down on the side. We're applying the shading all the way down. Let's even do some right here. Okay, over here. And then let's pretend that we can see inside the cup here. Apply some shading there. Okay, so that is very difficult to make it look three-dimensional because our outline is so dark. So a way to fix that, or a way to add to that, would be to try, if we darken the edges like that, we could actually go in and really get rid of that edge by darkening our value. So, just gonna erase off to the side. So I'm gonna add a little bit more value here, a little bit more there. So it almost eliminates that edge now, because now we've darkened that out, right? And then getting a lighter hand. So that value scale is very important so you can start seeing a gradation. So this is really gonna start to eliminate that edge, okay? So I'm pulling that edge in so that way I can get rid of that harsh outline. However, we still can see it on the opposite ends. So this is where we're going to move on to this one. So here we're going to leave our outline very light. I like to lighten it up a little bit more by erasing it out just a little. I could still see the outline of my cylinder, but I'm just going to erase some of these lines out to lighten it up. And I'm going to do the same thing, so now it looks like this. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm going to really start to add heavy pressure to darken my edge. Okay. Bring it in some more. I really want this dark. And it's okay if I'm going outside the line because I can always go back in and erase that and fix it. Then I'm going to start lightening up the pressure. That gradation will help too, guys, through drawing. So I'm having a lighter hand, lighter steady hand. I'm going to do the same on this side. I don't know if this is very hard for you to see, but I'm going to do the same at the top here at this corner. Doesn't matter what corner. Oh yes, it does, I'm sorry. Do it on the opposite end. So I'm getting rid of that harsh line, darkening it out, and then I'm slowly lifting up the pressure to lighten it out. Okay, then I'll go in here, add some, just a tad bit of shading that way. And then, after we've done this, to this one, I can go back in and finally fix my edges with my eraser just to eliminate some of that. I'm adding a little to it. I'm so sorry that the angle is really hard to see. So we're working on this one right now. So I'm also going to get rid of this edge by shading on the outside. I'm going to get rid of this edge now, but instead of shading on the inside, I'm going to shade on the outer portion of it. So you're going to see me working on that on this side. So here is where, let's see, here's where I'm going to eliminate that line by bringing some of this out. And then I like to really blend it out with my finger. I'm still going to go in with my eraser to really get a straight edge here. Okay, so now my object is starting. I can actually darken this out a little bit and really, now I'm going to use line to really darken that out. See? To really bring, I'm going to use a thin line and then heavy pressure to really, sorry guys, it's hard for me to draw this way. I'm just going to fish off. To really get rid of that edge. It's shading, and then it's almost going to appear three-dimensional. Then to flatten out the surface. Then once we get into blending, we're able to go in with our finger to blend it out. But I just wanted y'all to see, and then I'll start teaching you guys how to use the eraser. I'm just going to clean up some of these edges. And there you go. Now we have a more three-dimensional sphere versus the one with the harsh edges. Okay, so that's why it's really important to keep a light hand. I know this video was a little bit longer, but this should be your end result, something similar to that. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I will see you later. Bye.